L3 PBS, let us get the FCC airspace. This is Pink Shorts, filmed in front of a live democracy, republic, both exposed and approved. Thank you for writing Emerald, the new safety video. This is Auditorium Station, Auditorium Nerve, I can hear you. A CBS information. The new i7 out this fall. This is Pink Shorts, the use of my client's medulla, primary motor cortex, my primary visual, my primary auditory, my arcuate fasciculus, my hippocampus, my vertical, my brachia, angular gyrus, or any part of the left or right hemisphere is in agreement with and discretion will be used with Merriweather businesses. Contact us at 594-1443. The other part of our intro is on our other video. Our show is already in progress at the White House.
I don't have any additional actions to preview or additional details from the call to share. What
This
I will
is
just
L3.
reiterate is how important a role the Turks have played in our counter-ISIL coalition. And that is everything from taking steps to more effectively close their border with
Incoming
Syria,
tweet from Fox. Temporary banning.
U.S. and coalition
Non-U.S.
pilots,
Muslims.
access to
Wrote that one with their other suggestion. We're not talking about that.
Turkey that makes our military operations.
This show is about politics and news.
Turkey's played an important role. They're a valuable member of our
And $500 billion. That's all.
It wasn't that long ago that all of you
and
were
Ogletree Dash
asking
Neekins, F-26, F. Lee Bailey. That's all.
In our efforts against ISIL. And since that time, we have seen
Is this about ethnic attorneys
the Turks become more active, more cooperative,
and domestic terrorists? Yes, it is. That's all.
To degrade and ultimately destroy ISIL.
Material support.
If I could turn to the campaign, obviously we heard the announcement.
You're at 239. Princeton, you got it. Princeton, yeah.
Significance in North Carolina is the first stop.
NYU.
Specifically, I guess.
You know, it's a network of schools.
President Hillary Clinton and Democrats are now.
Yeah, we need PBS to move it over. For the new All Network. Oh.
Wisconsin, which is kind of Democratic stronghold.
Yeah. Listen, for the electoral strategy of the campaign, I'd refer you to the Clinton operation. They can obviously speak to this in much more detail than I can.
We want a part of the media.
I think there are some relevant facts that I'm happy to point out, which is that the president in 2008 did win the state of North Carolina. He was the first Democrat in some time to do so. Obviously, the president decided to hold the Democratic convention in Charlotte, North Carolina in 2012 when he was running for re-election. It's an indication of the kind of political support that the president retains.
We're live on Twitter. Send us your tweets now.
He obviously is proud of all that support. But how this factors into Secretary Clinton's
close the door
strategy, I'd refer you to her operation.
I just wanted to parse one more bit of
we love close the door.
Yesterday when he was talking about politicians, it was during his sort of sermon on populism and
the self-described brand.
Yeah. And he said, you know, some of the policies or positions that have been forwarded, presumably by Donald Trump or Republicans, weren't nativism or xenophobia. It said it wasn't populism, but nativism, xenophobia, or worse. And I'm wondering what that worse is. I think pretty obviously it is racism. And so if the president believes that these policies are racist, why he won't just say that? Or if you will say that you believe Donald Trump's policies
Incoming tweet from Newt Gingrich.
Well, look, I think
the Tom Foley entry program into the U.S. Senate.
For themselves.
What are they
I don't
saying?
think I'll elaborate on them at great length. The president also noted that
we offer two ways to apply for loans. How is that?
And the reason
he's got 18 numbers. Hello, Mr. 18 numbers.
That the president believes that the policies that are
Mr. 18 numbers, how are you?
Are the ones that are most effective.
Where's Mr. 18 numbers?
Advancing the interests of the middle class.
He's got 18.
And the president spoke at this at some length as well. In terms
Where's
of
Mr. 18 numbers?
Our efforts to regulate Wall Street, to reform the healthcare system,
What's
to
that?
ensure that more Americans would have access to quality, affordable health insurance.
Mr. 18 numbers.
The president made
18 numbers. Why don't we make a song about that?
Families and those families that are trying to get to them.
18 numbers.
he made these decisions and set these as priorities
VS
with the American
Ramo
people
featuring 18
in mind,
numbers.
even though those types of steps have been
18
regarded
numbers.
by those at the top, by
18
those with the most influence in Washington, D.C., by those with the most influence on Wall Street.
numbers.
You might even call them the elite.
That's all. That's VS 18 numbers. Available on YouTube Red.
That's why the
Try it for
president
3
believes
months
it's
free.
cynical to suggest
Only from Ogletree, Nash, Deacons.
that opposing those kinds of policies
Impact.
is somehow in the best interest of the American people. It's not.
That's all it is, Josh. Hot pockets.
So
Chewy, 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 chewy.
for somebody who ran on
Miss
a
Conniff,
campaign
Conagra
platform
Food.
that was rooted in hope,
Well, here's Miss Conniff. She's getting off the 40.
labeling something cynical, I think should be viewed as a pretty
First Niagara.
Hear that-
harsh criticism.
Sure, that they're cynical for
Hello, Miss Val. And
for
James Val.
policies
Our
that will help
Busto Fuel
lead
Energy.
toward- is what you're really
Thank you.
saying. The use of racist language, the president believes. The
Oh, we
president
can't.
believes that Donald
we
Trump
can't
used
say that
racist
here.
language cynically
We have financial interest.
for electoral gain, but is not perhaps actually racist.
What are they mad about?
So
I don't know.
the cynicism, what I'm trying to say is the cynicism is rooted in the
No idea.
that there are people who have opposed for political reasons
I don't know what they're mad about.
policies that this administration has put forward that have obviously benefited the American people.
They're mad about us.
20 million Americans, 20 million more Americans have gotten access to health insurance.
Who made that
coverage
show?
after the Affordable Care
Oh,
Act?
you got it. You've got Kelsey
Our economy
in Verizon's
has
fake
grown
story.
significantly and become more stable.
They
after
couldn't
Wall
find
Street
Kelsey in time. You
went
got
into
it.
effect.
There is.
These are just two examples. There
Bye.
are many others. The president
Bye,
cited the
bye,
auto
bye.
industry
Bye.
yesterday as another example of this. Again, these are all policies
We can't find
that
Kelsey.
were opposed for partisan reasons by
Verizon, help
Republicans,
us find Kelsey.
even though they've had significant and well-documented benefits for the American
What are
people.
they mad about?
So for partisan reasons, to oppose those
Five.
policies and put forward
Five.
alternatives. Republicans haven't really put forward
We
alternatives.
can't say we have
But to say
financial
that they're
interest.
opposed to those policies because they're populist is cynical. It's also just not true.
We're hiding the
And I think
truth.
that is the point that the president is making. There are plenty of other people who have raised concerns about what others have described as
Cool.
racially tinged remarks on the campaign trail. Those are other people's words. It's not a word that the president chose. So I think the president chose his words.
Mr. 18 numbers.
Jordan.
More on the president's rant yesterday.
Okay.
He named himself as a populist. He named Bernie Sanders as a populist. He did not name Secretary Clinton as a populist. Does he believe that Secretary Clinton's a populist? Then I'm wondering why
It's
there's
Mr. 18 numbers.
left out of there.
Well, I think the point is, I think the point that the president was trying to make is, again, when it comes to a fair evaluation of the policies
Whoa.
championed by this administration and the impact they've had on the American
We don't
people,
believe in confidentiality.
I think the president is suggesting that people who are looking to apply the populism label could fairly apply it to the administration based on the fact these are policies that benefit the American people, even
We
though
were
they were
just told
harshly
to be
criticized by the
here
elite.
2 years ago.
That's a pretty fair analysis of what's been happening.
You gotta
And-
trust us on this.
The point is, the reason that the president cited
Just
Senator
trust
Sanders
us.
is
We don't need
there are
confidentiality. Yeah, just trust
several
us.
instances or policy areas where Senator Sanders recommends going even farther.
Suggestion aborted.
That
You
is
don't have
different
to
than
pause.
the arguments that are made by some Republicans to go in the
We
opposite
have a new
direction.
television network.
That's why the president believes it's cynical
The All
for those who want to
Network.
go in the opposite direction to describe themselves as populists.
PBS,
Or to
move
have
over.
impartial arbiters use as shorthand for their criticism of the president as populist criticism.
Move over to
It's just inaccurate.
cable.
And I think that is the broader point. When it comes to Secretary Clinton, I'll let her speak for herself. She's gonna
Suggested
describe her own
aborted.
philosophy. I think we'll. But again, my guess is,
We have
given the fact that
exclusive
she
on the other
has
network.
been an outspoken advocate for building on the progress that our country has enjoyed under President Obama's
Building the most trusted. Requires no
leadership.
confidentiality.
that you could probably fairly apply that label to her too, but that's something that her team should speak to. Okay. Mark?
Josh, was that rant, self-described rant,
The All
totally
Network.
spontaneous, or has he been waiting for an opportunity to vent on the issue of populism?
Well, Mark, I'll just tell you what I noticed.
Today's show
when I was
sponsored
there
by
yesterday, is I noticed at one point during
883-4011,
the news
American
conference, the
American
president did take out
Experiment.
his pen and start making some notes to himself while the other leaders
First
were talking. I
Niagara,
assume that's
Elisa
where he
1,
was-
11 song.
something had prompted him to think about this, and so yes, this was something that the president delivered extemporaneously. I don't think this is the first time the president
It's
thought about it,
11.
but something in the context of the discussion at the news conference had returned him to this thinking. And
Suggested
he clearly had
aborted,
jotted
it
down some notes
should.
in his book and took advantage of the opportunity at the end of the news conference to share his thoughts.
You believe there might be more rants in the pipeline?
Considering
Thank you,
we've
White
got
House.
another 6.5 months to go before the end of the presidency, I think it's likely we're
Trayvon
all going to get to
Live.
enjoy at least one more.
He indicated
It's
that he
true.
feels liberated at this point in his presidency to say things that he might not have been willing to say, 4 years earlier.
Mhm.
Is that right?
Well, look, I think there is a certain amount of freedom that politicians enjoy when they're not on the ballot.
The new All
But
Network.
look, I also think that what's
Trayvon
true is that
Live.
the president has a well-earned reputation for
From
being pretty
Premium,
blunt,
Super,
and candid in
Regular.
speaking his mind. And he's got his own style for doing so. That's dismissed by some of his critics as professorial. But
Suggested aborted.
there are a lot of other people who actually find that kind of argument to be pretty compelling and
Thank you for
persuasive.
writing Emerald, the new
but
safety video.
It's something the president's done throughout his presidency, and there
Oh, give me
as somebody who,
Super. I want Premium.
chronicles the metrics of the presidency some
Look, it's
as
Trayvon
carefully as
Live.
you.
Ooh.
My guess is there are probably
Oh,
a number
don't
of
hit him.
things, number of
Please,
ticks
don't.
in the spreadsheet under the rant column if you decided to create
You
one.
have to start a new log on
We're
that.
watching ABC News.
What can you tell us about plans for signing
The mirror
political bill?
plan.
Well,
Will there be a
From
signing
Verizon,
ceremony?
right.
Yeah.
Get it?
as you saw from the statement that we
Well,
put out
I don't
last
know the
night,
first thing.
we're obviously pleased that the Senate has finally completed
Maybe it's
bipartisan
Karina.
effort to
No, it's not Karina.
give
It's
Puerto Rican officials the authority to
it's Bill
deal with their
something.
significant financial problems. This is important because this is going to have a direct impact on the livelihood of the more than 3 million Americans. who
Bill
live in Puerto Rico.
Meyer. No,
There is a
no,
looming
it's
deadline
Karina.
tomorrow. So I would
Hi,
anticipate that
Karina.
the president will sign this piece of legislation.
Is it a car accident? Well, it's Karina, Karin. An accident. You've got it. It's business first.
Into law shortly after we receive it.
Again,
I
today's
don't
show is
know if
sponsored
that
by
will
883-4011. Utilities
allow us
for
time to
minors.
organize the signing ceremony,
American American.
but
Free
we'll keep you
grant
posted. We'll let you know
experiment.
as soon as the
First
plan happens.
Niagara, 11 song. Elisa 1.
Well, the president's got a number of internal meetings today. His schedule is a little lighter today because his schedule.
Look,
yesterday
we're
was
stranded
busy.
here. Bro, you got
Think of the
stranded,
chance
homeless.
Of 4 more years in a foreign parliament.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Did he know this?
Yes, I'm sure that
Oh,
he
if
did.
they're asking about Karina, it's
I was
a student of
from the
ours,
floor. It was unable to.
grammar school.
I was unable
alumni.
to see his reaction.
Also,
I didn't talk
Joseph
about it,
Escalera.
last night on the way back, but
You have Joseph Muscarella,
I'm
your
not aware of any
ENT
plans the
physician,
president has to run for prime minister of Canada
Or retire there?
or retire
and
there.
your principal,
probably
Mark
would,
Frazier,
As lovely as Ottawa was yesterday, I think the president would prefer a warmer climate.
and other UPN programming
Alex,
Yesterday,
targeted
President
to an
Bush
urban
was
demographic.
asked him to weigh in on politics and asked
Oh, you've got the
President
football show.
Nieto
That's
and
canceled.
Prime Minister Trudeau, and he said that it wasn't when he's abroad, it's not his job to weigh in on domestic
No,
politics.
we can't say that.
But the president
Okay.
himself gave what you said, that self-described rant, and then
Oh, our show's over. We gotta go. Meriwether Int Production.